Hi, my name's Michelle, and about 12 years ago, I started blogging because that's what you did in the early 2000s. You started a blog and you wrote about everything, or you find it a niche, or whatever that word is. And my blog was based on more like a journalistic lifestyle. This is what happened to me today approach. Now, the last 7 years, it's been a little neglected due to our lifestyle, but I decided that it'd be really fun to read you some of these cringy posts. So today's reading is going to be what happens when BlondieChell attends a group exercise class. Ever have a friend who is a great friend and you've been just through about everything together, but then she goes and stops friending in the middle of an intense-ish yoga / Pilates / athletic training class called Cringy? ? Let me preface this to say, even though I am a little larger, I have great flexibility and I do work out, even though I don't quite look like it yet. So I have this friend, and for the sake of this post, she shall remain nameless, but I still remember who it is. And we shall call her T. And in order to understand her misguided actions, first you must acknowledge the kind of pressure she was under. It was that I didn't come with her and I have no idea who this crazy woman is pressure that some of us fall prey to. So this situation started when my good friend T and I decided that we would take our not so flexible bodies, I was more flexible than her, to a Cringy course offered at the local gym. Because sometimes we're overconfident and we enjoy trying new things. Since we arrived a little later than the designated class time, we were forced to unroll our yoga mats in the front row, which is great for being a newbie, while all the slender body women who had obviously taken this class religiously were positioned towards the back of the room. The instructor was a gracious, elderly woman who seemed new to the routine that she was introducing to the class. There was a big red flag I didn't catch on to. And if I hadn't have walked away with at least one humorous story, it would have been a waste of an entire hour. About 3/4 of the way through the class, we were led into this pose called the frog. The instructor herself seemed confused on the exact position, but basically, you fold yourself over the mat, so you fold your mat over, fold over your mat? You fold over your mat. I thought I wrote that wrong. So there's a bump towards the front of you. Then you melt down into a wide-legged child's pose, mangling the soles of your feet until they touch. Then you take one arm and shoulder and roll towards the opposite side, sliding that arm under the other. This just sounds so confusing. Until you are stuck. And you remain in that position until you lose all feeling in your knees. This is amazing. Once I had completely committed the rest of my life to this pose, the instructor then led us to unmangle ourselves from the frog. And I tried. Apparently I was stuck, face first on the floor with one arm crossed under the other and my knees bent at the most unnatural angle. I was also the only student still lying on the floor. Great. And unable to make contact with my friend T. I tried really hard to convince my anatomy to move, or at least to allow me to wiggle to one side so I could resume the class, but no, nothing was working. So I had two choices, remain in this position for the rest of class time, or disrupt the class by asking for help. So in a quiet voice, I asked the instructor if she could repeat the ways to get out of the pose. So she did. And again, nothing moved. The brain was not connecting. As I lay there, tears flowed from my eyes. Why? I don't know. I wasn't crying. I now understand that it was probably emotional dysregulation due to the ADHD. At the time, I didn't know that. I wasn't intentionally crying. I was embarrassed and I was laughing at my situation, so it was probably like a laugh cry. But like, when you can't see someone's face and their like shoulders are shaking like this because they're laughing or crying. I don't think anyone else was on the same page with me. To them, not only was I stuck, but I was silently sobbing about it. Great. And then I posted a picture of a contortionist, or it was photoshopped. I don't think this girl has elbows. And I put, it may have resembled something like this. Honestly, it probably did. Since I was evidently stuck, and I may have also announced this, some of the other class members, along with the instructor, rushed over to unposition my legs for me. Notice I did not mention my friend. She was frozen with the rest of the class, gawking at the sight that I had become. Thankfully, cell phones weren't as big of a thing back then, so nobody was posting pictures of me to the Book of Face and tagging me. After I was returned to my full upright position, T, my nameless friend, leaned over and asked if I was okay, and somehow she had discovered how to friend again. Good for her. So we finished the class without any more delays or surprises, and in the end, we felt stronger and more secure in our relationship. And I did not hashtag this one with anything, but that was a really true story that happened to me because I was trying to exercise. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this post. Stay tuned for more.